If you feel like you're drinking too much coffee and you're interested in migrating over to tea but don't know which kind of tea to drink, this video is for you. Hey guys, it's Dr. Mona, and for this week's video, I want to talk about tea. So some of you have been asking me what the difference is between white tea or black tea, or when it's better to have green tea. What is matcha? I've gotten all these kinds of questions, so I want to go over all different types of tea and just when I incorporate them into my daily routine. So let's start with black tea. This one's a Persian black tea. There's so many different black teas you can get. There's like Earl Grey, there's English breakfast. So black tea tends to have the highest caffeine of any kind of tea. It's still good for you. It does have antioxidants, but when you compare a black tea to like a green tea is going to have more antioxidants. The main difference between green tea and black tea is a little more caffeine and it's not as high in antioxidants. So this really comes down to how they're harvesting the tea leaves. Black tea goes through a fermentation process, which means a lot of the antioxidants get oxidized. So when it's oxidized, they're not as strong. Doesn't mean it's not good for you. I still drink a lot of black tea. It's just not quite as high in antioxidants. I tend to find that black tea really settles my stomach. This is definitely a cultural thing. You know, growing up Persian, whenever I'd have a stomach ache or after meals, I would have black tea. So this could definitely be placebo effect. I'm a huge believer in placebo effect, which basically means your mind can really affect the way you feel. You know, you could drink something and think it's making you feel better, and just from the power of your mind, it could. So I don't know if it's placebo effect, but I love to drink black tea. Sometimes when it's really cold out, it's really cozy, like a nice chai tea. It settles my stomach, but that's when I like to incorporate that. Green tea, I love to have in the mornings. I have this thing where I really love green tea with citrus. I just think it tastes so good together. So for breakfast, sometimes I'll have like some oranges or pineapple or blueberries with some green tea. Honestly, the combination's amazing. Just try it. It's really good. So like I said, green tea is not fermented, it's not oxidized, so the antioxidants are so high. It's good, you know, it fights cancer, it's heart healthy, it can help you with healthy weight loss, it's great for your skin. I can't say enough great things about green tea. I absolutely love it. There has been a new trend lately with matcha, and some things that come up and that are trends can be fads. Matcha is not one of them. I love matcha. I probably drink more matcha than green tea. I go back and forth, but I'm really into matcha right now. So matcha is a type of green tea, but the way it's grown is a little bit different. It's still the same leaves, but when it's grown, the leaves are actually blocked from direct sunlight. So by blocking this sunlight, you actually get a little higher antioxidant activity. And the other difference is you'll notice that matcha comes in powder form. So with this green tea, for the most part, it comes in a little tea bag, and you can steep it in your water, whereas matcha is just powder. And this is the leaves that are basically just ground up into a really fine powder. And because you're getting all of that dissolved into the water, you're getting a higher amount of tea. So you're getting higher antioxidants, but with that also comes higher caffeine. So if we wanted to do like a caffeine scale, black tea is the highest, and then we've got matcha not too far behind black tea, and then we've got green tea. So when you're going between matcha and green tea, just kind of use your own judgment. Like, let's say you need a little extra caffeine boost that day, and you still want something healthy, you can go for the matcha. If it's later on in the afternoon and you want a nice cup of green tea, but you don't want to stay up all night, maybe just having a regular green tea would be better, because the caffeine difference between matcha and green tea is pretty significant. I also just kind of wanted to show you guys how to make matcha. This is just an example brand I have. You have to have hot water. I've already boiled this water. There are like very specific temperatures you can have when you make it. I can post that below this video. But on an everyday basis, I'm definitely not like measuring my water and making sure it's the right temperature. This is just a little more practical. You can put some hot water in a mug. You pour in the green tea. I don't know if you can see this color, but because, like I said earlier, with matcha, the leaves are actually prevented from direct sunlight, so more chlorophyll is actually produced, and that gives it a darker green color. So you will notice that matcha is darker green than like a regular green tea. And then you just kind of whisk it with this little bamboo spoon or bamboo whisk. And this really makes sure you're getting the most benefit out of the matcha. Sometimes I don't use this. Don't stress if you don't have one, you can still have it. But go on Amazon or something, it's easy to find one of these. And you just whisk it. and let it sit, and that's it. So matcha does tend to have a little bit more of a bitter taste. I like to add some coconut milk. I've really been liking oat milk in my matcha lately. There's a little coffee shop in LA, Alfred's. If you guys live in LA, you should check it out. They make really yummy oat milk, and I'll do like a matcha latte. And just so you guys know, a latte, all that means is steamed milk with either coffee or tea. So if you want to make a green tea latte, a black tea latte, a matcha latte, you can make it out of anything. All it means is that instead of having this be all water, it's mostly all steamed milk. So you can make this vegan, you can make it from almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk, whatever you want. Whenever I'm getting any kind of tea latte, I always like to specify, because sometimes if you go somewhere and they just have like a green tea latte, they can add their own sweeteners, their own powders, and make it artificial. But if you want that and you don't want to make it super unhealthy, just ask them to take like a regular tea bag and add some steamed almond milk or coconut milk, half water, half milk, and you'll make your own latte. It's very simple. So the next kind of tea I want to talk about is white tea. I really love white tea, and I think this is something a lot of people don't even really know much about. I discovered it in a coffee shop one day and started researching it. So white tea, I would say of all of them, is the least processed. It's almost like the least messed with. It has the highest antioxidants. It does have lower caffeine. There hasn't been that much research on it, at least not as much as all these other types of teas. So there's not definitive data on certain facts, but it is thought that it has less caffeine, higher antioxidants. You'll notice it's like a really light taste. So I think you should experiment with white tea, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine and you still want a lot of the antioxidants. It's something to definitely look into because it's really great. If you think about it, white tea technically is kind of the winner of them all because it has the least caffeine and it has the highest antioxidants. It's not 100%, but I really like it. It has a really nice, light, gentle taste. So if you can incorporate some white tea into your diet, I would try that too. And the last one is herbal tea. I can't even go over all the different kinds of herbal tea because there's so many, and herbals can range, I mean, it could go on forever. There could be fresh, like loose leaf herbal tea. This is just an example of one. This is like a dandelion root tea. There's so many different benefits to them. I do want to warn you guys, herbals can still be pretty strong. So just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's not potent. But as long as you look into what the benefits are, what the risks are, for the most part, any kind of herbal tea you're buying at like a health food store or at Whole Foods will be completely fine. But the benefits can range from like relaxation to, lower blood pressure, better skin, promote circulation. This one's really great for bloating. It's kind of limitless there. And the other cool thing about herbal tea is that it's naturally caffeine free. So I have just so many different kinds of herbal tea in my cupboard, and at night I'll always just pick a different one. I also want to make sure you guys understand that when you get tea that says sleepy time tea, if it's chamomile tea, it's not making you sleepy. It's just that it doesn't have caffeine. So you don't have to worry about drinking like chamomile tea during the day and thinking it's going to make you feel sleepy. It won't. The only kind of tea I can think of off the top of my head that would make you feel sleepy would be something like kava, because kava is an herb, I guess I would call it an herb, that they would use years ago for anxiety and relaxation. So for the most part, something like chamomile won't actually make you sleepy during the day. If we talk about one more time our order of caffeine, herbal is the lowest, then we've got white tea after that, then we've got green tea, and then we've got matcha, and then we've got black tea. So just pick and choose, have fun with it. This is actually another one of the reasons I stopped drinking coffee so much, because there's so much good tea out there, and I liked experimenting with different tea, and it's given me a chance to just really enjoy it and get all the benefits of different herbal teas. I'll have a coffee maybe once a week, but I've really kind of kicked that habit. I'm even surprised. I used to love coffee. So try to get more tea into your diet. It can be a really nice, relaxing thing you just do at home on your own to wake up in the morning. If you guys have any questions on tea, if you think this didn't cover enough, please leave it in the comments. I can definitely get into more detail, especially with the herbal teas. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week with a new video.